Rhoda. Are you on mute?
Oh, no. I wasn't properly connected. Right, so I'm just going into the Hangouts.
Please say hi to Emily for me.
Oh, it was running around, sorry. Copy link. Put that in there. Putting it in the other Hangouts. See if anybody joins us. Right, okay, so it's just us so far. Yeah, I got your list. I've started looking through it. I think we need to really decide on what's for 25th and what's future features.
But that's why I think you ought to drive it, Frodo.
Yeah, but I mean, if you could also just prioritize so that our discussions become easier. For instance, hi, Carl.
Well, let me say that I'm still out of office, so please drive, and I will mostly be in listen mode today.
Right, okay. Right, well, while we're seeing who else will join, just give it another minute. I'm just going to ask you, Sam, if you can today, send that same list, but just prioritize it a little bit, because things like time tag notes, I think, are crucial, but not for version prototype. However, I would also think that having more than one thing recording is important early on.
Okay. I will set a prioritized list with a backlog.
Okay. Hi, Carl.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. I've changed my setup there, but there's still a bed in the background. I'm in the guest room. It's kind of bizarre, but anyway. Your background looks a bit more professional. So, who are we expecting to join us today? I guess we don't know after all the on and off sessions, right?
Yeah. And whoever shows up is the right people. Well, that's what.
That's very true. Let's just give them one more minute or so.
Sure, no problem. Ugh.
Well, okay, first of all, just the three of us then. What's the consensus? Should we try to have something for Future of Text on the 25th, or should we just try to have something for Program for the Future on the 9th of December?
So there's going to be something in December in this year too, or you just?
Sam?
Yeah, let me say that I was, until the date change, I was thinking that we could continue what we did last year and do the December 9th event as a joint event. If you're splitting it out to August 25th, then my intent is still to have an event on December 9th.
Yeah, I think that's very good to have it then. I mean, I don't know if the Future of Text is going to be 1 or 2 days. We have to decide, but I thought it was worthwhile enough to go on the dates, the only date where Vince Cerf can join us. So that's the only reason for the change. He has no other time at all this year. So yeah, tell me, should we try to do something for the 25th, or should we try to do something for the 9th?
All right, since I'm in limited mode, let me just be very quick. If we actually decide to run this as a real project, we can actually do it agile. We can actually create the right sprints so that we do have something by August 25th, as well as have something on December 9th. Now, whether or not we can actually create ourselves as a project like that is the main question. But once we actually do create ourselves, it is definitely possible with human systems and technology and compensation systems to do things in an agile fashion. Over.
What's your perspective, Carl?
Yeah. I mean that I was just thinking about, like, that's kind of what we've been doing at GSA is getting into the agile stuff. So there could potentially, if we had at least a prototype like for August 25th, and then I could almost be announcing a sprint, and then what could we have by December 9th? Could be a possibility.
Hey, hi Dan.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Oh, great.
Yes. We're discussing whether to try to have a prototype time browser by the 25th of August or try to do it by 9th of December.
Of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wondering what your perspective is.
Well, I'll just let me just refer to the posting I put on the blog several days ago. I would say if we want to get a transcript of a meeting or multiple meetings and feed that into Watson, assuming we get it like an academic license or something for Watson, I think that part is doable. But there's this philosophical question of, Watson sort of hides all the structure, whereas the time, maybe, I don't know how intrinsic you feel it is to the time browser that there be an access structure, sort of an explicit indexing or text or some kind of structure that lets you zero in on specific things, as opposed to Watson, which would just sort of do a general information retrieval to pull out passages.
Did you have a chance to read the brief email I sent this morning?
No.
Okay, because the notion that kind of the kickoff for this discussion and what you mentioned is important regarding that. I wrote, I want to be able to get to stage at the first session after lunch and use the time browser prototype to say, and I say is of course in quotes because it could be through whatever interaction, show me what Stan said about DKR. Then I should then be able to cite him in a document which, when someone reading this other document clicks on it, produces the transcript of his presentation open to the exact sentence cited, and the user can then easily click to hear his voice saying what he was saying.
Okay.
So this is not really a level of analysis like you're talking about. We're talking about something cruder of searchable text with audio behind it, basically for version prototype.
Right. Just like citing a page in a book or something.
Yes, but when you open that, it opens to that paragraph, and you can either select that text and then do some clicking, and it'll play back the audio that produced that transcription.
Okay.
Because Sam came back with notions of how to add time tag other media, like even a handwritten note. How we can have various streams synchronized into one, and so on. I think that for the prototype, if we're going to do it, it should essentially be a presentation capture system.
Okay.
So it's really based on an easy way to say, Carl is now talking. Everything that is being said is Carl. And then, of course, if there are interjections, it needs to be relatively easy to manually say, this bit wasn't actually Carl, it was Sam, and so on.
Right. Okay.
So we have to decide about our priorities.
Yeah.
Sam, what is your priority? What do you want to show on the 25th, and what do you want to show on the 9th?
I almost don't care. I think that the fact of having a prototype is way more important than what we show. Because as we know, user stories can be prioritized and reprioritized. So as long as they're still kept in the backlog, I almost don't care what's done first. So in order to be expedient, I suggest that you become the product owner, that the rest of us could actually put things on the backlog, that you do the prioritization between now and August 25th. And if you want to switch product owners, then we can do that. But then there's a kind of different prioritization getting ready for December 9th. That all presupposes, though, that we have somebody like Bjorn or someone else who's willing to do the development or lead the development at least. If we don't have that, then all of this is basically worthless.
Yeah, and we do, I mean, what I'm looking at here is writing a really basic spec, like that email, you know, human language spec, not technical, that we, at least to a degree, agree on, and then giving that out to a few people who may be able to give us some money for it.
Now, as I mentioned, there's a fellow over here, Mr. Dan, who once we have the good concept, he's kind of like my version of your Bjorn, right? Super smart guy, can develop things really fast, possibly able to do it with, let's say, zero financial compensation. So anyway, once we stabilize, both you and I have people that we can talk to about implementation. But at some point, we have to figure out what is the kind of user stories that we're going to go after first.
Okay, so let's have a quick vote then on this story here. I'm going to paste it into the chat, and then you can all say what we need to add or delete or what's irrelevant to that. It's the I want to be able to get to a stage sentence in the chat.
So well, in this thing then, so there'd basically be a meeting.
Dan, could you mute while you're typing, please?
So basically, are you talking about like having a recorded Zoom meeting or whatever that?
I'm thinking about, it could be as simple as we have an iPhone or an iPad just on a tripod recording the whole thing. Some kind of a small gadget. It could be Android. That's not the main point. And in the most crudest way, between each speaker, someone will click a button to say it's a new speaker, or we can think of a clever way to have it running. But I just think that we should think about theater, that you know, 1 o'clock after lunch, you know, it's my turn. You know, just, and then we all come up and we say, we now want to show you the initial time browser, and then we will do that script. You know, one of you guys will say, hey, you know, I'm just using Sam and DKR as placeholder, you know, people at text. But it means that the morning sessions were all automatically logged, transcribed, all of that stuff. So now it can be interacted. So the two halves that I think are very important in the initial thing is that, what did so-and-so say about this? Secondly, to be able to take it out of this ecosystem into the world so that we put it into a PDF or web page or whatever it is in a form that when someone in the audience with their laptop clicks, they can see and hear the source. And that is such a quick demo. We can probably do that in 5 minutes, just surprise people how far we've gotten. Spend the rest of the time, including dialogue, on adding to the agile backlog of what does the audience think is important that we now do.
See, I think that's good. So with slightly more detail, you know, imagine like a movie script format. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you say? What does the audience take away? You know, those kind of attributes. You go from like snippet to snippet to snippet to snippet. 2 seconds, we show this. 3 seconds, we show that. 3 seconds, we say this. 4 seconds, the audience does that, blah, blah, blah. We can actually movie script that thing out. Then we know exactly what we want to do on the 25th, and therefore we can then back out of that the user stories that we need to create for the product. Over.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying
that's
to do.
kind of what. So that's kind of what I was thinking too. Do we want to try to really like almost put together like a movie type of thing? This is what our vision is, and then also have like the prototype so people. I don't know. I don't really want to get into vaporware necessarily, but kind of is it worth having kind of, I guess, a parallel effort or how that ties in, if that makes sense.
I think what Sam meant, and at least what I mean, is that the scripting for the demo should be of that level. So not necessarily show a different level.
Okay.
And because we're doing this as a team effort, we may take 2 sessions worth of time. You know, so we do it like this, and so we make it really clear. What we can do is filter who spoke and keywords. That's it for now. And then, of course, I guess time. And then I agree with you, though, that we should have a presentation. And I'm sorry, I'm contradicting myself. But yes, we should probably also, after this demo, and this demo is something where the audience should also be allowed to ask us something like, well, what did Carl say about Doug? You know, whatever, something live and real. We should be able to address that. But after that, the kind of things that Sam is talking about here, we'll have a list of that on the screen. This is our future. This is where we want to go. And then engage the audience in a real discussion of priorities, see what their ideas are, and so on. Is that how you see it, Sam? Make it real and then talk future and collaborate?
Absolutely. I think, you know, having something real is very important, as we all feel, okay? And getting something real means that we have to be as specific as possible between now and then so that we can actually deliver a spec or a set of user stories that's actionable. And then somebody like you or I need to engage someone like a Bjorn or a Dan or someone else or somebody in Ukraine. Say, okay, here's what we got. We got $500 to do this. We got $600 to do that. We got $300 to do that. And then to see how far we can get. But having something real, okay, despite how small it is crucial, because we've been talking for quite a while now, and you're frustrated because, you know, until we get something real, you're not going to see progress. Now, in answer to Carl's point, if we manage to get that critical mass going, then I would agree we can create a second parallel effort to talk about the grand vision. But let's get this first thing going first.
Okay. So I'm going to resend the email that I sent this morning. I'm going to add a few things under the script that we just agreed on. And then I'm going to send it out to the same group of people and say, this is what we agreed on today. All you need to do is help us make it real. You know, not change it. So the end of this email that I sent had, therefore, we need so-and-so. Of course, if someone has a strong objection, that's one thing. It's very quiet. Right, I just wrote that intro and I will clean that after the call so I don't waste your time. Right, good. So we've agreed that that's the way to proceed with this. Dan, Carl?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Then I'm very happy to go on to other business.
Okay, I've been a little bit silent because I was creating a shared Google Sheets document. And what it is a format. Could be completely wrong, but I just pasted the link into the Skype group. And it's an attempt to try and create the format of a movie script. And somebody who knows movies way better than me can do a better job of this. Basically, I said, okay, for the scene, what's the state of the scene? Who does what? What is the action they do? What is what is audible, what is heard, and what's the audience's takeaway, and try and do this, you know, boom, 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 as many steps as we need, and see how people want to go ahead and collaborate creating this. I added a column in how many seconds of time should that take. So see what you guys think of that. And if you don't like it, come up with something better. I know there are movie script producing applications out there, maybe even an online shared version. I haven't looked at for one yet. And so if we can find one, that's even better. But this at least is a first attempt at trying to say, how can we collaborate on this script? Over.
Yeah, that looks good. I'm not going to bother with the time. So far, put it in here for you guys to edit. Right, should we work on that together, or is there something else we should do?
Well, my apology to this group is that last time we met, I said that I would create some of the artifacts for how to create a team out of this and start a backlog for the requirements. I do apologize. I could give excuses, but I have not done that yet. So I feel that I'm not in a position to really lead that part of the discussion. It's still on my action item list, but I am not going to lead on that for now.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys heard of a product called Asana
Yeah.
and things? Because that's actually one I'm going to be working with the Ray, who's my mentor for getting things done, and I'm looking at that environment. It's really incredible. I'll send a couple of links here, but it interfaces with so much and things. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So yeah, I'll be looking to set up that prototype and stuff. I don't know if I'll have it. Well, next weekend I won't be able to participate. I got a nephew who's graduating from college, so I'll be out of town. But I'll work to be having something in 2 weeks then.
Well, as an aside, I do use Asana extensively. There's already a PFTF group in Asana that's
great.
But if you like, let me invite you to that group, and we can see if we can become critical mass in getting that tool to become useful for us.
Okay, that'd be great.
I'll send that to you in a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so, and I'll be, as I said, I'll be working with Ray on getting some of my ideas together. He's really amazing. I kid him that I need about 10 people to help me, and he's 12 of them. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, have you been using any of the integration capabilities of it? Because it actually has interfaces into like GitHub and all kinds of.
I think for me, it's more important to get some usage going, and then we can talk about the integration, at least from my standpoint. But I haven't.
Right. Yeah. No. I agree and stuff. But then I mean that it can connect to all these different tools and stuff too. I think that it could really be really part of the. Well, it certainly looks promising to be a part of my augmentation system. So. Because I've been playing around some with user voice, but they've completely changed their model, and now it's like it's all at the enterprise level, and it's like $500 a person per month or something ridiculous. And it's all about they've really gotten into like the enterprise service desk. It's kind of their business. So. need to be looking for on different platforms.
Okay, Carl, I have the invitation to the Program for the Future team in Asana. So right now there's Alan, David Price, Dino, Kenan, Carl, Sam, Stan. So any of the rest of you that would like to be in that group, feel free to give me an indication or send me a note, and I'll add you to that Asana team.
Okay. Yeah, and then I actually I'm gonna have you add Ray too, and then he can see what's there and potentially be making some recommendations, and then I can, and then
Sure, why don't you give me his email and I can invite him.
okay.
Back in 1 second.
So I've just sent invitations to Froda and Dan also. Is that John?
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued about how it can work because I've got like multiple project teams. Like I've got three or four teams I'm going to be kind of looking to put together. And I guess that's the question, like as far as cost and stuff goes, that do I have to be having a pro account and stuff, and then how that all works.
Okay, let me just ask the naive question. At this point, what are we going to use Asana for? I mean, what are we in this project going to be doing individually?
Action items. That's basically it's for, is tracking action items. Like, you know, I'm going to create a script. That's an action item. Carl will send me an email for blah, blah, blah. That's an action item.
Right, okay.
So I'm basically looking at it as for the baseline of what I want to do is basically a team implementation of getting things done. So that's what I'm going to be looking to build with Ray in my space, and then certainly anything we're learning we can apply. Or we can give so the idea would be then I can give Ray and I can give a demo of what we've put together, and then what makes sense to potentially bring over into the PFTF group.
Hi, John, by the way. I saw you've joined. No. Okay, back to this script then. What does state of scene mean, Sam?
Basically use that to mean, okay, so how do we start? You know, what is the context? Where's the camera? What's it looking at? You know, who's in the picture? You know, is the sword, you know, in the neck? You know, all that sort of thing. What is the context that you're describing theatrically as you're creating this script?
Yeah, but it's us standing on a stage.
Okay, then that's all it is. We standing on stage.
That's going to be the same for every session, every piece, though.
No, because what's visible should be different. What's visible should be, let's say, you know, we focus on a screen showing a sonogram, or we focus on a stream of text, and you're standing off to the left with a microphone, or you pass the microphone to Sam, who then says, here's what you see with blah, blah, blah. or the thing pans to zoom in on the section of text where there's an icon that you can push to actually hear the audio. So all of that.
What thing pans? I mean, we're talking about just doing a live demo, right?
Yeah, but let's think in terms of creating a theatrical experience, which is, you know, as specific as we can get, that they can extract proper user stories that we then need to build.
Okay, well, I don't think we need to go that far, really. I mean, we're basically going to be showing three things. And yeah, I'm not sure how useful it is to go into that level of presentation detail rather than functionality detail.
Functionality follows whatever we're going to show. Anyway, this is my approach. If you want to drive this, okay, here's my suggestion, okay? Very number one suggestion. Froda, you are the product owner between now and August 25th. That means you write all the user stories, and you actually prioritize all the user stories. Everybody else is allowed to contribute them, but they only go on the backlog until you say they're useful between now and August 25th, okay?
Yeah, I understand that, but we do need to agree on the user story, and the user story...
No, I don't think so, because if you own this and you were really trying to operate fast, then I think you ought to prioritize.
Sam, we have one user story, and it's the one that I pasted into the chat. If someone wants to change that, very happy to discuss it, but that's all we're showing. We're not showing, you know, like a nurse at work and then a professor doing things and so on. Just showing that, showing the text with the audio, doing search, citation.
Okay, there's 4 user stories in what you pasted in, but yes, you're right. It's a very small set of user stories. There's 4 of them. If you want, I can help you create those in user story form, and then we're done. I can do that for you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, if you want to write that in.
User story. Is everybody here familiar with Agile and how user stories are written? Okay, let me spend 20 seconds on that, okay? User stories follow the pattern. As a stakeholder, in other words, as a user of Time Browser, okay, comma, I want to or I can do blah, okay? That's a very short, very simple thing. And it's very testable. In other words, when the product is there, you can say, yep, it's there, or no, it's not, okay? So for example, as a user, as a meeting attendee, I can push a button to start recording the session, okay? That's it. Now, the second user story could be, as a user, I can click on play and hear what happened in the meeting. The third one would be, as a user, I can actually search for the name Froda and get a list of all the times where Froda was speaking.
Sure. Yeah, we can write that. We can make that a sheet on here. That's fine by me.
Okay. All right. So I can do that.
All right. I'll add that to the sheet. That's fine. Right. Okay. What are the other priorities for today? Here is an apt little point. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Today is the anniversary of the end of World War II in Europe. Did you know that?
What was that, VE Day?
VE Day, that's right. I did not remember that. Emily and I were out today and we ended up at a pub, and next door it turned out that's where they made the Hurricane aircrafts and also the Sopwith Camel for World War I. And I talked to my father and I said, blah, blah, blah. Yes, he lived through it. So this is a great example of the importance of being able to access earlier history. As you look at the news, World War I just didn't happen. Some mention, huh? But anyway, I think that's kind of strange.
Okay.
Right.
Well, it's Mother's Day. It's our Mother's Day today.
Yes, it is. That's another. It's also Vint Cerf's wife's birthday today, and David Attenborough's 90th birthday, and it's the 4th week, well, 1 month since Emily lost her mother. So it's a bizarre day today.
Yeah, it's yeah. My uncle was born in 1936, and then he passed on May 8th, 2006. So my cousin's going through a rough time because it's the first Mother's Day since he lost his mom, and then his father's birthday, and also the day he died. So he died on his 70th birthday. So
Yeah, indeed. Oh, that's history. Right, okay. Any other tasks, or should we spend the rest of the time getting on with what we've already discussed? Okay, I'm going to, since there's nothing else, I'm going to hop into this and update the email and send it back out to the group and work on that. And then, yeah, see you all in a week.
Hey, before you leave, in the spreadsheet that I sent around, in the second sheet of it, I'm starting the user story format. So I've got one there right now. Basically, it says, as a stakeholder type, I can, and so I have one example there right now. As a meeting participant, I can start audio recording a meeting I am attending. And I'm going to just use that format to keep driving what I heard from Frode. And I'm just going to leave it with where Frode left it. Okay, I'm not going to expand on anything beyond what I hear from Frode in that little short thing he cut and copied and pasted. Okay, so feel free to look at that. Feel free to even jump in before I do and add user stories. But anyway, this is where I'm putting them. Okay. Over.
where? So you put a link out to the
It's
sheet?
a Google Doc, Google Sheets link. It's the second sheet. Actually, I'm going to move it. I'm just going to delete the first sheet. Okay, I'm just going to delete that because nobody wanted it, and then it'll become the default sheet. So if you click on that link I just sent you, it's there.
Okay.
Okay, I've got that link. I will get on with this and talk to you very soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, thanks all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.